Well. Football is almost back. It's beginning to look a lot like football. It's exactly what I woke up this morning thinking. Guys, if you didn't already know, we are 30 days away, depending on when you're watching it, from the Hall of Fame game to kick off our 2026 season. More importantly, more enthusiastically, it's time to win some damn money again. So that's going to be great. Get our bankrolls up in this preseason. We're going to keep it going from last year. It was an okay year. We ended up just a little over 500. Um, we'll get into all that stuff later. Really, what I want to do today is number one, let's get back into the groove here, introduce everyone back to the football, and cover this damn Hall of Fame game because it's going to be a pretty good one. I got a really solid angle for us on this one. Should be a great way to kick off the season with this game. As always, it's not Home Depot. There are no guaranteed locks here, but I can give you all the information. Number two, we're going to go over a bunch of preseason stats, data, everything you could possibly want. And then lastly, I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of a book that we have coming out this season. Should be pretty great for most of you. It's going to be super, super cheap, super affordable. I don't think anyone's going to have a problem with the price tag once we unveil it. It should, or unveil, sorry. This is why I write, don't speak mostly. But let's get right into it. So first, we'll start off with the data. Number one, as always with the preseason, we need to start with the coaching data. Who gives two shits about preseason? Who does not? Who is going to be trying to put their best foot forward? What should we be looking for? All that kind of stuff. One thing to touch on, guys, the coaching, of course, is the most important. Secondly, though, look at your quarterback rotation rooms as we move through this preseason. That is probably the biggest step I see everybody just skip over for preseason handicapping. The coaching obviously is going to really determine who's trying, who's not, who's putting in a good lineup, who's not. But secondly, the coaching or the quarterback rotation, if you have a great starter and a bunch of nobodies for backups, that's kind of a problem for preseason because you're not going to get your starter for the most part. You're going to probably get two, maybe three reps with this guy. Everything else is going to be the backups. So you want to look for teams that have strong backups when you're looking for a team to outright win, or if you're looking for overs, things like that. Or conversely, we're looking for the opposite, right? We're looking for teams that have a bunch of nobodies to take unders or to fade. However, this is a little trickier to fade preseason, especially in the Hall of Fame game, and I'll get into that as well. But for the most part, if it is an unknown quarterback, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. We've seen quarterbacks come out have great preseasons because they were good college players. They came from the CFL. They're unknown. They're undrafted. Whatever. Coaches being really aggressive with them. Who knows? So it's not a end all be all, but that should be your starting point for most of these things. As far as quarterbacks go, if it's an unknown player, it's an unknown player. Looking at college stats or CFL stats or whatever, it's great, I guess, if you want to just get a feel for the player, but it's really not going to tell you a whole lot of how they're going to act in the NFL, and specifically for the preseason, because the coach may or may not really try to play to their strengths, and they may have a totally different motive than just going out and winning the game. Right? It's not a regular season game. So what we can do and what we actually know going into these games is the coaching information. So real quick, just so I'm not holding you hostage here, if you want to just look at teams to bet on, teams to bet against, it's right there in front of you guys. Titans, Bears, Broncos, Chargers, Seahawks, Giants. Those teams have coaches that have cared, that traditionally care, that we have no reason to believe that they're going to go against those beliefs at this point. And they have relatively solid teams that should be able to compete in the regular season, but teams that are going to maybe be having to answer some questions during the preseason before we get to the real deal, start off here. The fade teams, the Commanders, Lions, Panthers, Vikings, Jags, Saints, those are all teams that, for whatever reason, their coach has decided to really not care about preseason, does not want to put, a whole lot of stuff on tape, doesn't want to show a whole lot to the opposing teams. Whatever it may be, these guys just tend to not give a shit about preseason, or possibly they pick and choose their spots, right? So like Dan Campbell, for whatever reason, really likes to go all out in his second preseason game. Now I say second preseason game and not week 2 because it has changed for him. Sometimes he has the Hall of Fame game like he's had, I believe it was last year or the year before. Did not care to show up at all for that game. But the week 1 game or his second game, he really wanted to go out and show out, and they had a great game. So his second game, for some reason, he decides that's where he's gonna put on a show for everybody. So just something to look at. But let's take a look through this list here. If you want to pause it, rewind it, screenshot it, whatever. Information, as always, guys, is free to you from me. If you are not familiar with the channel, if this is your first time watching here, everything we do is free. Absolutely no paywalls online or YouTube stuff or anything like that. The book obviously is going to be a little bit different, but I don't think you're going to have a problem with it even at that point. The information that I'm providing, the reasoning, the rationale, all that kind of stuff, like I said, all up for grabs, guys. No problems. Actually, if you need something, if you want something, if you're like, man, I really can't find this data, or I really wanted to get your information, but I didn't screenshot it, or I lost it, it's a different video, whatever, let me know. Comment in it below. Just tell me how you want me to get a hold of you. I'll send you the stuff. I'll look for you to give you the stuff. So, like I said, don't hesitate to ask. Please let me know. I'm here to help. I want us all to help. Speaking of which, before I forget, if anybody has a play for the preseason that they are already looking forward to, something you already got money down on, please put it in the comments. If you have time to give us a little reason as to why, what the hell we're putting our money on, let us know, because we should all be trying to beat these books together. It's a lot easier when you have multiple people working together. The syndicates that are working together, the casinos work together. As far as us, just these small, individual bettors, we're kind of handicapped by what we can do, right? So the more we work together, the more information we can pull together, the more rationale we can pull together, the better we're all going to be. So, like I said, look at this information here. Obviously, the win percentages in green are good. Red is bad. Liam Cohen with the Jaguars has actually won 0 games as a head coach in preseason. Now, obviously, he's only had one full preseason, right, as a head coach. So not too shocking, but he's just never won a game. He did tie once, so that was good. Seems like he's tried there. That game that he tied was actually the last preseason game for last year. And if you look at the top row here, the column titles, that last game of the preseason, if you'll notice, I do track how the coaches end off on preseason. That is something, it's a nice little detail that I wanted to add in there, because some coaches absolutely, like I said, don't care about preseason. But if they're going to show us something, if they're going to put some of their starters out there, it's typically that last preseason game. That last preseason game, they want to get a little bit of a dress rehearsal, get something out there, maybe at least for the half, and we can kind of determine how much they're going to try or not try by looking at that last game performance. So if you look at some of these coaches here, like the Broncos with Sean Payton, he's 3-0 to close out the preseason. Even though he's at about a 53% win rate for the entire preseason, 3-0 to close out preseason. Same thing with D'Amico Ryans. And D'Amico Ryans is an overall winning head coach for preseason, obviously at 70%. 3-0 to close everything out. Kellen Moore, just like Cohen, could not win a single game last year in the preseason. Again, only one season as a head coach. So, obviously, again, small sample size. Mike McDonald did really great with the Seahawks. He's at 67 or almost 67% as far as win rate goes. Robert Saleh. Now, this is going to be his first season with the Titans. Now, that is important because obviously it can change whenever you change teams. But he was with the Jets. He did a great job in the preseason at 10-2, 83% win record, with 2-0 to close out the preseason. Robert Saleh tends to really try during this preseason. Now, at this point, a lot of times, for the first year head coaches or the first year with the new team head coach, they tend to try to put on a show. They want to use that as a kind of like a springboard, right? It's a chance to show the administration, to show the players, to show everybody that you know what you're doing, that you're trying to get some buy-in because you can put up some points. You have some sort of modicum of knowing what the hell you're doing and who you are as a coach. So we tend to see a really good performance from these head coaches, if nothing else, at least in the first preseason, and if nothing else, at least in the first game. Now, last year, that was not the case. That last year really broke just everything because those coaches did not try, but those were brand new, very, very first time head coaches. In the past, we've had guys like Robert Saleh, and we've also had Harbaugh when he first took over the Chargers. Just absolutely show out and try to smash teams in the preseason. And maybe it's because they're a little bit older. Maybe it's because they're a little bit more experienced as head coaches. But for whatever reason, they tend to come out and really put their best foot forward in the preseason. So I expect the same with the Titans. Like I said earlier, the Titans are definitely a team that I'm looking to just kind of follow pretty much the entire preseason. Now, one, or I guess two teams I want to show you here. The Cardinals with Michael LaFleur. He's a brand new head coach. We have no idea what he's going to be doing. He could really try, could not. Who knows? Now, his brother is kind of 50-50 as far as games go. He's at a 47% win rate. Matt LaFleur with the Packers, right? But he's 3-0 to close out season. So who knows what we're going to get from the Cardinals. But we know Carolina with Dave Canales is 1-5 in two preseasons. He has won one game, and it was the final game of his very first year as a head coach with the Panthers, or these over these last 2 years here. So he's at a 16, almost 17% win record. Dave Canales is one of these guys that just clearly does not care about preseason. Yeah, it's possible. It could just be because the Panthers are a terrible team, preseason, regular season, every damn season. But Dave Canales has just shown to not really try and put his best foot forward. We don't really see the starters at all in the preseason from the Panthers. We just don't have a lot of reason to think that he is putting on a winning performance. Now, that being said, it's not just about wins and losses, right? Because you could put up 30 points and just happen to get in a bad string and lose games. Dave Canales with the Panthers, their average points per game last year was 7.67 points. He never exceeded 10 points in the preseason last year. And then before that, actually, let's a good segue here. Let's go right into it here. So this is a preview, and unfortunately, it is the only preview I'm going to be handing out for the book that is coming out this year. Actually, it's going to be here in about 2 weeks. So it's going to be on Amazon. It's going to have a lot of different things here that I believe you guys would find valuable. Number one is going to be free picks, not necessarily for every week, only picks that we feel very strongly about, picks that we have been filtered through. We've gone down. We've seen, okay, this is something I really, really like well ahead of time, well before the season starts. This is not just trends and following. Oh, well, this team looked really good last week. This is going to be well ahead of time. Something we've done really, really well on over the last 3 years is picking these teams, picking these spots before the season even starts. So with this Hall of Fame game, if you want to read it, same thing. Like I said, if you want to take a look at what's here, screenshot it, whatever you want to do, this is going to be that first recommendation, first play, whatever you want to call it. The book is actually going to be plays per week, right? As far as what week we have plays for. And then next to that's going to be a little workbook on why it was chosen, what we're looking at, trends, all that kind of stuff. And then there's going to be a section for you to put down your picks per week to, number one, make us all better betters, right? Because we want to make sure we know what the hell we're doing, that we have some sort of process. And then number two, to keep track of your plays and keep track of why you're doing it. Because at the end of the season, one of the best things that I have learned is to just go back and evaluate what you did, why you did it, what's going on, what mistakes are we making, can we stop some of those mistakes from happening? And this workbook is going to be the best way to do that. It's going to give you a list of things to look for. It's going to ask you why you're making a certain pick, and it's going to ask you questions about what went into your thought process. And then, of course, it's going to be a tracker, right? So plus, on top of that, you're going to get the free picks. So it's going to be a lot of data, a lot of information, a tracker for yourself and a workbook for yourself to hopefully make you better. So if you read through this, the quick gist of this here is that we are not taking one team to win or lose for that first Hall of Fame game. That is a little difficult because it's a Hall of Fame game. Anything could happen. And again, like I said, we don't know what the hell the Cardinals are going to be doing, if they're going to be trying or not. But what we do know is that the over-under, for the team total, I should say, for the Panthers is at 18.5 because they're our favorites. I don't know how the hell a 1-5 preseason team can be a favorite, but they are. The team total is at 18.5. Again, Dave Canales did not go over 10 points last year. In his entire coaching career, he has never put up more than 12 points in the preseason, and now we're going to be handed a team total of 18.5. Now, in this little couple paragraphs here, I do mention, yeah, that's great, 6 points above what he's ever scored before in the preseason, but more importantly, it's not necessarily the 6 points, it is the variation, right? So 6 points and 6 points, but 18 points, 18.5, you look at the full number, could be a difference of 2 touchdowns and a field goal, several field goals, a kick return and a field goal, kick return and a touchdown, whatever it is. Because maybe he doesn't only score the 7 points at the average last year, but what if they get an interception, right? A pick six. What if they get the pick six and a field goal? It's given us a lot of different variations, a lot of different outs to still hit that team total under. Secondly, it goes into a little bit of rationale as far as why we've seen some higher scoring in that Hall of Fame game in the last few years, and why those things are not going to be present in this year's Hall of Fame game. And then lastly, the Cardinals, their coach, as far as LaFleur is concerned, he's actually relatively from the area. He's from Michigan, but it's about a 5 hour drive. It's doable. So it's possible he has family, friends, somebody in the stands for this game. They makes him kind of try a little harder, put a little emphasis on this game, on top of the fact that this is his first preseason game with a team that has a lot of holes, right? A lot of question marks. This may be his best opportunity to have a good looking team, because once the regular season starts, most of us are not expecting this Cardinals team to look very good at really any point of the season. So if he wants to get a good showing, this is going to probably be his best opportunity. So, like I said, read through this, take a screenshot, whatever you want to do, pause the video. It's not very long, as you can tell. It's like 4 paragraphs. You'll knock it out in a few minutes as long as you have like a second grade reading level. Uh, Take a look at it, because this is the preview. If you want the book, comment below that you want to get on the list, that you want to know when it's coming out, all that kind of stuff. I will let everybody know. Obviously, the final unveil I'll have for everyone here is this book, workbook, whatever you want to call it. We are going to be putting it out for 99 cents. It's not $30. It's not $50. It's not a subscription or $25 a month or $125 because it's billed annually. Fuck that. I hate that shit. I'm not doing that. We're doing 99 cents. 99 cents for the picks, the plays, the workbook, the everything. So take a look at it. Let me know what you think. If you have any, additional things you want to see in the book, any questions about the book, anything that you have about this particular play, let me know. Put it in the comments. Like I said, always happy to help, guys. Thank you for taking the time to look at this. Again, the pick for week one, or the Hall of Fame game, right? First week of the preseason, first week to kick off the NFL, is officially the Carolina Panthers team total under 18.5. And I will speak with y'all again soon. See ya.